Good morning. Jim Lurkey, owner of Safety Connections. This week's blurb is by request. And so I've noted some things. I'm going to make sure I reference those as I thought through my message for the week on building a team, hiring practices. What I believe, all right, from being a past HR director as well, when it comes to hiring, what am I seeing? I am seeing few companies who are doing anything that's by strategy, that's by practice, that's by having things in place, that there's a process. In fact, I'm hearing the opposite. I'm hearing just get a body in here, whatever that means. So I think there's a lot of opportunities here. Number one, a few items I want to cover. We should all have a documented hiring process. What does that look like? What does it mean? I think it's critical that there's a thing out there called fairness, and we want to be fair and consistent, okay? And not have it a flavor of the day just to put a body in place. And sometimes we wonder why we have bad employees. It's because, in my opinion, we hire them in the first place. So, and I, no different than anyone else, have gone through that. So, what do we need to do? Hire the right person, if you will. We must know who's going to take the ultimate responsibility, the yay and nay at the end. Currently, we see a standard that's less than adequate. Making good decisions versus throwing people in place. To me, that's a lot of what this is about. We need to interview for culture before competency, meaning this. Why do I say that? Well, when we ask somebody what they do or what they want to do before we get into asking the question about, tell me what motivates you. Tell me what you're, not what you're looking for, but from a culture standpoint, what kind of environment you want to work in. From a culture standpoint, get to the culture, those kind of things first, what people value, before you get down to what are you looking for. So I think that's critical. Reach out to the candidates. Hiring managers, we can either hire the best of who's available, all right, or engage best possible outcome. So we have to reach out to the right candidates instead of waiting for applicants to raise their hand and just put them in just for the sake of putting them in. All right? You got to remember, all people, if you take a position like my belief is, there's no open positions. We're just borrowing from each other. So we need to hire the right people. Have a scoring matrix based on fact, okay? As best you can, and a list that's agreed upon by your hiring team. Example, one person scores a 2, okay? Why was that scored a 2? In conversation and discussion. Is the person the right fit? Or is it time to just simply move on? The simple things. Have a prepared interview guideline. Well, we're going to cover and be consistent with the legal requirements, and we're going to be consistent with same questions, different answers, and all we need to do is be ready to be that good listener before we sit down in the first place. Make sure we have those guidelines. Measure our hiring effectiveness. If we're recruiting people, all right, how good do we do, and how good do we do at retention? I suggest that we have one metric that's going to list the total number of interviewed and the number that declined. All right? And don't forget one last thing. We have to have a final decision maker. Those are some thoughts for the week. Have a great week, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.